the now versus equity. Let me see what Joel is saying. I see the same thing with certain people who consult you about their video needs and then ask someone else's opinion and spend more money than needed. Exactly. Listen, it's the same thing in everything. I see the same thing with beat makers. I see the same thing with people who have small labels. I have conversations with people sometimes and I'm like, what's wrong with these people? And the thing is, a lot of people, they don't really think straight. And people live in the now. People live in the now so much that they get themselves against the equity. So what is equity? Equity is when you own a piece of your future. You own a piece of a company, you own a piece of a work, you own a piece of a song, you own a piece of a publishing, you own a piece of something. A lot of people, because they only focus on the now, they lose track of equity. They lose track of what they will make tomorrow. To give you an example, I know a lot of artists that got signed to record label because they had no money and somebody was proposing to them in advance. So let's say somebody tells you, hey, I'm going to give you 10,000 in advance, and then after that, I'll pay you 10% on your sales. But I'll pay for your music video, I'll pay for this, I'll pay for that, etc. But then everything will belong to me, but I'll pay you 10% of everything I make. So in the beginning, it sounds great because you don't have to pay for the music videos, you don't have to pay for everything that costs all the money, you don't have to pay for all that. And then they will pay the radios, they will pay the promotion, they will pay the people who have connection to the radio and play your songs, to the people who decide what plays or what doesn't play, etc. They will make sure that you are in the system, and they will make sure that your music video costs enough money and plays on the right TV stations, etc., etc., etc. And then you're gonna make a lot of money from your shows because of the fact that those people, your brand is now visible. So you're gonna do a lot of shows, you're gonna make a lot of money from your shows. Let's say you're 20 years old, amazing, blah, 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 you made it, etc. In terms of royalties, to pay back your 10,000, you don't pay them on 100%. So let's say that person makes 10,000 from your first sales. Your part is 1,000. So once they made 10,000, you didn't reimburse them. You only reimburse 1,000. You need to make them 100,000 so that your 10% becomes 10,000. And only now, after you made them 100,000, only now that they don't pay you still, because now they get back their 10,000, and starting now, the next amount of money that they will do, they start paying you 10%. So if you are successful and you make, let's say you make them $1 million, listen, not only they give you 100,000 minus 10,000, that's 90,000. There you go. Look, I made 90,000 out of my royalties, and I do a lot of shows, and I'm famous, etc., etc. That's beautiful in the now. That's beautiful in the today. tomorrow, next week, next month, maybe in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, because you're gonna do more. Maybe your contract has 3 to 5 albums. You're gonna do them all that content. And fast forward to 2022, maybe you signed in 1997 and we are in 2022. 25 years have passed. Your brand has just, people have moved on from your brand. Your fans are in their 50s and you are in your 50s as well. And the new kids, they are not interested in your music from an old person. They're interested in what the kids are doing. So, yeah. The people who are 16, 17, they listen to the music of the 16, 17, maybe 20, and their heroes are 22. It's normal. But maybe you don't do shows anymore. Or maybe you only do, instead of doing a show every week, maybe you do one show every 6 months. And that's not enough to pay your bills. So what about my royalties from all the songs? Let's say that you recorded 5 albums in all these years and you don't own them. They all belong to those people who sign you. And let's say that we are in the streaming economy. So we don't sell CDs anymore. It streams. Let's say you make, I don't know, 1 million stream every month. 1 million stream generate 3,000 euros. That's the reality of the market. If your contract says you get 10% of the money I make, it means that every time I make 3,000 euros, I have to give you as royalties 300. 300 is not enough to pay your rent. If you owned your catalog, if you owned all your albums and all your music, all your masters, all these songs that you did 25 years ago, in the last 25 years, you would make it. You would make 100% from those records, and from the streams, from your million stream you do every month, you would make 3,000. 3,000 is enough to pay a rent, groceries, electricity, and even gifts for your wife, husband, for your kids, pay for expenses. So if you get 3,000 every month, plus maybe 1 or 2 show every 2-3 months, plus maybe you're doing something else, maybe you have a YouTube channel, maybe you have a job, who knows? Maybe in total you make 4,000 a month, and you can live. Yeah, you can live good, depending on where you live. Maybe you move to out of the big city. Maybe you move. Yeah, you have a little house in a smaller city, or maybe you went to another country. Maybe you live in Thailand or in Portugal or in Spain. It's a different process because you own equity. When you own what you create, you will receive dividends out of what you own. If you don't own equity, you only live in the now. You live in the money that you can make right now, and you're gonna be always running after the money. Always. It's the same thing as making a million, making a million from a huge song. You make $1 million, and then you buy a car, you go to the clubs, you spend on fancy clothes, etc., etc. But you blow up your $1 million. Once your million is blown up, you think you're going to make another one, and let's say for whatever reason, you never make another million. You lived in the now, you lived fast, you lived crazy. That was amazing. But you didn't buy a house. If you bought a house, you wouldn't have to pay rent. If you bought a studio, or if inside of your house you use some of that money, maybe you bought a house for 300,000 and maybe you invested another 50,000 to build a home studio, and maybe with the rest of the money you put some on the side, and then you just see what happens. You have equity now. You have walls that you own. So, and it will take value with time, and you don't have to pay rent. So when there's no show, as long as you can buy some pasta and some butter, you survive. Some people, they're gonna make $1 million, and what they're gonna do is they're gonna invest it in the right places. Like right now, you can put $1 million in crypto. And if you put this $1 million in crypto, you will make 2.5 thousand. 2005 every week. Guaranteed. Every week from $1 million. So it means from 100,000, you make 250 every week. 250 every week is 1,000 a month. A lot of people, they don't even think like that. They don't even have that information. They just think, oh my God, like I'm not making $1 million. I'm not making 100,000. I'm not even making 10,000. I'm not even making any money. But what I'm interested in, what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing those people and they're making more shows than me. And listen, I know a lot of people right now, 2022 in March, they do way more shows than me. Last time I did a show was in December. I have a few, I think I have one show in June, and I have one proposal for London, but I don't know if they're gonna happen because my price is higher now. And when people tell me like, yeah, we don't see you, did you stop? I just tell them I have a new album. Go to Kaysha.com and follow the link, or go to sushiro.com and just click on Bantu Royalty and enjoy the music. And I don't feel emotional about it. I don't feel like, oh my God, people should know me. Oh my God, how come they don't know I have numbers. There's 100,000 people that have listened to my new album already after a month. I have the numbers. So I'm interested in those 100,000 people. I'm not interested in all the people that I don't know or who say, oh, I'm your number one fan. They pretend that they're my number one fan, but they have no clue I have a new album. What kind of number one fan are you? Yeah, say I was your number one fan 20 years ago. It's okay. There's so much music out there in the world that I understand that it's hard to keep up, especially with me who release songs every Friday. I understand it's hard to keep up. But I don't blame people if they don't keep up. I don't care. I'm trying to, of course, I'm like, okay, I need more people to know. So I have to just expand the reach so that people have the information. So promotion, interviews, that's what you do for that. But I don't get emotionally attached to the idea of not being famous anymore one day. I'm not emotionally attached. Like the songs that I did, they will stay in the life of the people who enjoyed those songs forever. And this is something, it's given. It's this conversation is done. People will not forget One Love, Question My Heart, On Dit Quoi, all those songs are here forever. And for the generation who lived those songs when they were 14 to 25, those people will have their songs in their heart all their life, and all my life as well. So my mission here is complete, but the best part here is I own the masters, I own the publishing. Most of the time I own the writing, and I also own the composition, or I'm publishing the composition, and I own all these masters. So all this is generating money that is the same as if I owned 5 apartments and I was renting them to people. And this is equity. I have equity in my own career. And why? Because in 2007, when all these idiots were running to play in just between Martinique and Guadeloupe for nothing, I decided to leave that market. I was like, listen, I love the people, I love the market. I'll come back on a holiday. I don't need to go and perform for free. I can just go and move. And what I started to do, I start playing in Portugal. I start building my name here in Portugal. Started in 2003, but the more I was doing, the more it opened the gates of Mozambique, Angola, Cape Verde, etc. And then all the diasporas in all the different places. And then I went to the US, I went here, I went there, and I go to places where I'd rather go in places where people don't know me yet, because it's more exciting, rather than go in places where everybody know me already and everybody know the song. It's great. It's an easy show, but it's also great to conquer new places. And this is what makes the big difference between having vision and not having vision. The people who don't have vision, they usually live in now. The people who have vision, they think about the equity. They try to build things that will stay. So I already told you before, if you're on level 1 and you reach level 2 before solidifying level 1, what happens is if you fall from level 3 or level 4 or even level 40, you're gonna end up at level 0 and break your bones. If you take your time to solidify level 0, then you move to level 1, then you solidify level 1, then you move to level 2, and so on and so on. If you fall at level 500, you will be on the floor of level 500. And if maybe you can fall for 1 level, you will still be at 499. And this, you will stand up at 499 and work again to solidify 500. And it's not going to be something where you fall from so hard that you're done. And this is because you're going to have the force of everything you built the last 25 years that is securing you and being your base. And a lot of those people, they don't build nothing other than fame. But fame is nothing. Fame is like beauty. All this is ephemeral. At a point, it fades away. But those people, because they're emotional, they obsessed with that. And you see them making those mistakes over and over again. I see DJs making those mistakes. I see people on YouTube making those mistakes. I see people, they have a show like this one and they abandon after 100 episodes because they're like, oh my God, it's not generating what I thought. It's not. And they don't realize that they are building something. Listen, this channel generates money because this channel has been on YouTube as long as YouTube exists. But this show itself, other than your donations and the donations of the stream royalty, and the sponsor is Shadaware. So when people buy something on Shadaware, other than that, this show itself doesn't generate that much, but it makes the channel so active that it makes the rest of the people who come to see this show, they go watch some videos, they go watch something in Endo. So the overall quality and money generated by this channel goes up. But let's say that this whole show for the next 4 years, let's say in 2 years, I get 50 and I got 4 years of Club Shada episodes. Let's say I have 400 episodes and I still didn't generate like significant money from the show. But Netflix want to have a show like this one, and they want exclusivity for this show, and they want to buy all 400 episodes. And they say, hey, listen, we will buy every episode for 10,000. 10,000 by 400, that's 4 million. And boom, done. Perseverance, equity. And you tell them, hey, listen, you can buy the exclusivity, but I still own the show. And every advertisement, etc., it will go by me. It will, and then now you're making money, the real money. This is future vision. And listen, what I realized personally as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as a creator, as a visionary, was that the best thing that I could do for myself, in 2010, I realized that, was to move far away from all these people, far away from those people in the barrel and their mentality and the fact that they try everything they touch rots. I understood that my goal was to stay far away from these people. So when I moved to Portugal in 2012, I've been thinking about it and preparing myself for 4 years. But when I moved, it seemed sudden for everybody. And I could hear everybody chatting. I could hear, listen, I receive information from everywhere. I got spies everywhere. And I would hear people. Yeah, he moved to Portugal. Yeah, he went to a poor country because he doesn't have money, because this, because that. And then, yeah, at a point, they start seeing my Instagram photos. They start seeing my place. They start seeing my way of life. And they were like, wait a minute. We thought he was. They start seeing that I left them on the Titanic while I was on my yacht and my yacht. And after a certain point, they start reading and seeing documentaries on TV about all the French people, the Russian, the Brazilian that go move to Portugal because of better taxation, because of 1,000 euros feels like 2005 in Portugal compared to Paris, etc. And you can do more with the same money because food costs way less. Apartments, you can have an apartment like this one, which is 100 meters square, for the price that you would pay for a 40 meter square in Paris. All these things and the quality of life, they start to realize after 10 years. Only like last 2 years, everybody's like, oh my God, he was right. Oh my God, he has foreseen the fall of this empire out there. And he moved on. When we thought he ran away, he was actually like, I'm by. Let me go build something out there, and let me go build something on the digital realm where I don't need to be anywhere. Listen, I could move my whole family to Thailand tonight. Tell everybody, pack your bags, we're moving to Thailand. I would make the same amount of money, and as long as I have an internet connection and I can do my show, I'm happy. And the money I'm generating, instead of going to my Portuguese bank account, would go in my Thai bank account, and it would be in bahts that I would receive it, and that's it. It's a way of life. Think the people who will always choose the now, it's a way of thinking. It's a lack of clarity of vision that is done because of them, but also because of all the people that are around them. Because even if you explain to them, when they go back, instead of saying to themselves, okay, I see what he meant, let me start removing all the crap from my eyes and from my brain and starting to focus on what I really want to do in the future, and trying to understand how this guy thinks. Instead of doing that, they go back exactly to the people who put crap in their heads, and they start wanting to have conversations with those people. One of my good friends, Peter, who lives in New York, told me 10 years ago, what you need to do, Kaysha, is sit down with people who are on your level of thinking. You have to sit down with the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musks, the P. Diddy's, the Dr. Dre's. Like, you have to sit down with people who you're on your brain level. Those people, you can have good conversations with them, because what you've been doing for the last 15 years is be on the top of the barrel talking to people who are in the bottom of the barrel. And then you've been going up and up and up. And at the point you talk to them from the sky, and all they do is tell you, you're not better than me, motherfucker. And they're trying to shoot you down. And what you should do is start understanding that you need to be sitting at the right table with the right people, and you need to start cleaning up your entourage. The people who don't think like you, the people who cannot evolve to be on your level, they are crabs. They belong down there in the sand. They're not the Shada gang that you have to be with. And once I realized that, like, that was a powerful conversation for me, because when you are humble, you tend to see yourself like the others. You're like, no, they can change, they can understand. I feel like I don't want to leave them behind. They are my friends, they are this, they are my colleagues, blah, 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 blah. But those people will make you understand. No, they're not your friends. There are people that you have to move away from, because they will always drag you down or be jealous of you, etc., etc. Now, be around people who think like you, or people who think even higher than you. Maybe you are at level 500. Sit down with people who are 600, 700, 1,000, 5,000. And see what you can learn from these people. Maybe this will empower you and inspire you to go from 500 to 1,000. Because if you talk to people who are at 20, there's no conversation to be had with those people for you. All you can do is give them advice, and maybe they will understand half, 10% of what you're saying. Because everything you talk about that happens in level 20, it's interesting for them. They're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. But when you start talking about what happens at level 50, which is still 450 levels under you, those people, they pretend they're understanding. But when you start talking about equity, about owning your stuff, about this, about paying for your own videos by yourself, or instead of making videos, buy a camera like this one and you can do the videos by yourself. Learn programs like Final Cut to start shooting your own videos. Look at a lot of videos and mimic the editing. Start being a one-man operation. Instead of paying $5,000 for a music video, maybe it's gonna cost you $300 if you do it yourself. And maybe in the first one's not gonna be that great, but you're gonna learn as you do it. And maybe after 10 videos, you're gonna be able to do videos that you used to pay $5,000, but you're gonna do them for $1,000. Because you will understand that if you already own the camera, you own 1, 2, 3 lights. That's all you need actually. You're gonna rent an Airbnb, and you're gonna put your lights here and there. You're gonna hire a makeup artist for $100 or $150. You're gonna hire a stylist for $100 or $150, and then you're gonna have 1 or 2 assistants to take care of your food, your whatever, and maybe somebody to hold the camera for you. You're gonna write your story. You have somebody write it for you, and you're gonna direct your video, and it's gonna cost you $1,000. Instead of paying somebody who's gonna do exactly the same thing and charge you $5,000, it's gonna cost you $1,000. And instead of being on a label that's gonna pay you 10% of your work because they own it, and they're gonna put it on their YouTube channel. Let's say the YouTube channel generates $2,000 a month, they're gonna give you $200 because that's how they own it. They only owe you 10%. You have no equity here. You live in the now. Now, if you do all your videos and put them on your own YouTube channel, every time somebody watches it, ding, 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 you make money. So this is the big difference between the now. And listen, we all love what people say in the now. In the now, it's emotional. But equity makes all the difference with time. As you grow older, the equity is what decides how you're gonna grow old and how you're gonna be being able to pay for your family's expenses, etc. And not be forced to work until you X amount of years. And I've been seeing it everywhere. This conversation is a conversation that nobody is having with people. Everybody, listen, the role of record companies, the role of YouTube networks, the role of anybody who comes and bring you an advance or, something shiny, something that smells good, something that will relieve you right now. Their goal is to make you choose the now, because that's how they can make money from the equity. Because all the work you're doing, they're gonna add it to the mountains of other works that they own. And yeah, of course, if you own 100,000 songs, and those 100,000 songs, they only generate from streams $10 per month, that's $1 million a month. So, and all they have to do is take 100,000 and distribute it 10%, 10%, 10% to everybody that they have contracts with. They keep 900% because they own the equity. I received a message yesterday from somebody telling me, hey, I have some American, they are interested in buying your catalog. I was like, what you mean my catalog? Oh, they want to buy everything. Your YouTube channel, your this, your that. I was like, listen, no, I'm not interested. Why? Because I'm not interested. Unless you give me 5 million, 10 million, I don't know. If we don't talk in millions, I have no reason to give you my YouTube channel, to give you my 200 episodes of Club Shada, my 900 vlog episodes, my 3,000 videos that are in there, plus my thousands of masters and songs, etc., that generate an amount of money that I can pass to my children. And they start their life knowing that they have X amount coming every month. I got 2 kids, so they both have X amount every month on top of whatever they decide to do in their life. They have this. Plus I have land in Congo, plus I have this, that. They start with this. If you want me to sell all this, yeah, give me 5 million or 10 million so I can invest 5 million somewhere, that those 5 million generate 25,000 per month or per week. With those, 20,000 per week. I know how to do it if I had 5 million or 10 million. And then I know that this money is locked and is generating money, and I live from that. I will make more money than what I'm making now. But other than that, I don't see no reason to take, let's say, we are willing to give you 300,000. Don't care about your money. I can do it myself. I just made 100,000 selling NFTs. And those people, they come to me with those small amount of money because they know that most of us, we live in the now. We live in the wanting to prove to other people that this is the Instagram generation. We live to prove to other people that we're rich. We live to prove to people that don't like us how we are. And we don't think everybody's there. Oh my God, we want to be in the, why these people that, and nobody wants to build something for us. Everybody's complaining about the Italian and the French haute couture that do racist thing, whatever, but nobody wants to put money in the African creators. They believe that because it has an Italian name or a French name, that Dior, those, yeah, I'm putting my money there. But they're not putting money in their cultures. And how do we build equity then? We never build equity. And somebody like me, that's what I've been trying to do with everybody around me. All the beat makers doing the remixes, all the guys like Lil Maro, Malcolm. I'm teaching them how to think like me, how to start thinking of the equity, the future, not the money we're not doing right now, but the money we're gonna do in 10 years from the work we're doing today. All the remixes, all this, all that, all the names. Like, most of you didn't know about Lil Maro, about MJ, about CV Beats, about Paolo Pequeno, about DJ Paparazzi, about all these people. Most of you didn't know about them, but because of all these remixes, I'm giving them brand equity. At a point, all of them will start doing their own projects. And I will come and sing in a few songs like I do with Malcolm or Lil Maro. And then they will own these songs and they will start building their own catalogs. When we have enough catalog, when we have enough YouTube channels like Dahlia MTV, Joel Amen, Mountain of Inspiration, MJ, my channel, Bodhisattva, all these channels, when we have maybe 10 times the number of people watching our shows and the public goes from one show to another, and we have, let's say, we generate all of us like, I don't know, 10 millions of views every month. Now we can talk to advertisers, and those logos, they will change every week. But you build that. It takes time. You don't build this in the now. You build this episode after episode, new viewer after new viewer. You build this way. And a lot of people, it's hard for them to realize that because they live in the now and they get emotional. When you have a show, you do a show and there's only 2 people watching, you get emotional. You don't say to yourself, they will watch the replay tomorrow. Today everybody's busy. It happens. it's this is not what is important. What is important is the creation of what you own. You are building, you are posing the bricks of your next you're gonna stand on those bricks one day. When you're gonna reach level 2, it's gonna be on those bricks that you are saying. So it's really the difference between the now and equity. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. Let me see what you have to say before we check out. So everybody that was watching on Facebook and Twitch and other platforms, is just to let you know, starting Sunday, next episode, I'm going back to normal. I'm going back to YouTube only. Just to let you know, because this whole thing is cool, but I prefer when my platform of choice. So but it was cool to sometimes to open up a little bit and see if we get new people on new platforms. Pride of ownership is in the size of the equity on your property, be it intellectual or house. That's true. Those who cry while sowing today will smile with thanksgiving when reaping the benefits, the fruits of their labor. Very true, Joel. Very, very true. We always love UK. Oh, thank you, Julie. Ellie says you will have a solid foundation that will stand for the test of time. Very true. Joel says clear vision and a solid foundation are inseparable. Yep, that's true. Alice is saying, I saw a saying that said, when you decrease your circle, you increase your value. Yeah, I think I posted that 2 or 3 weeks ago. I remember seeing that one, and I don't know if I saw it or if I posted it on my Instagram, but that is completely true. This is something that I did. Listen, I've been speaking with the same 10 people the whole pandemic. Like, I've been just like decreasing my circle to really like people who matter. Sit down with the Shada gang. Yep, eye-opening conversation. Thanks. At least sell us at 50 million. I don't know if I'm worth that much, but ooh, that would be nice. Once again, goes back to people wanting to keep everything for themselves. They don't want to share the information because they think you get ahead of them. Exactly. You know, these days I see a lot of people going to see some people. I cannot be specific, but I can see that those people who always call me when they want information, they're in a place where they are not opening the door for me. And I know why. Because they all know that I'm smarter than them and that my vision goes way further than them. So they're scared of me going and meeting that specific person, and that specific person being like, whoa, how come I didn't hear about you? Oh, you the one, and forgetting about them. And this is the problem of how it goes. And this has been the problem of my life, my whole life. That's how people do. And it make me laugh because I know that I could just place one phone call and they would wake up and I'm there where they don't want me to be. But because I'm not really interested, because all this for me is also part of the now. And it's not gonna make me build more equity that I'm trying to do. The things that I'm trying to do will retire me from shows. It will put me in a place where I will not even do Club Shada to make money from it. I will make it to share information, and because it's gonna be a place where I can share my stuff, and I will be able to build a studio just for Club Shada. Those are the things I'm working on. And all these people who are trying to go in those places and not hide it from me, because I see on the socials, but not opening the door behind them and saying, Kaysha, come, you have to be here, this is the place to be. They still believe that I'm interested in the games that they are playing. They still believe that they still believe that I'm on the football field with them. They don't believe that I'm buying the stadium. They don't understand I'm buying the stadium. I'm working to buy the whole stadium, and they will all work for me, and they will not even know.